Podcast New York.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 132 of the Video Rangers podcast. I'm Mike Ranger, broadcasting from the tippy top of the Aggro Crag, and it's absolutely covered in snow and holiday cheer. The lights are twinkling, sleigh bells are in the air, and the fat man is picking up the red suit from the dry cleaners. So in the spirit of giving, we are going to visit the cinema ghost of home video past with some beautiful presents all to myself, featuring only films released to home video between January 1st and December 23rd of 1990. That's right, Mike Ranger is 8 years old, and these are the films I'd place under the tree and stuff in my stocking in 1990. Get ready to make the cookies, pour the eggnog, and spend a fortune at Suncoast Video. Before we get all nestled into our beds, let's take a quick commercial break.
Get ready to experience the joy of the holidays with an all-new album covered in snow. This Christmas, Mike Ranger brings new life to those holiday classics you grew up with in Mike Ranger's Merry Fucking Christmas, featuring 20 songs to warm up your genitals just in time for Christmas. Songs like All I Want for Christmas is a Sex Comedy,
All I want for Christmas is a sex comedy. A sex comedy, yeah, sex comedy. Gee, if I could only have a sex comedy, then I could wish you Merry Christmas.
and Felice, Take Off Your Bra.
Felice, take off your bra. Felice, take off your bra. Felice, take off your bra. Come on, yeah, take off that bra.
Featuring other hits like Oh Horny Night, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like an Orgy, 12 Sex Comedies of Christmas, Jiggle Your Bells, Frosty the Blowman, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red Lipstick Reindeer, Baby, It's Cold Outside My Pants, Let It Blow, Merry Christmas, But That's Not My Baby, Grandma Got a Train Ran on Her, and many more. That's right, 20 new Christmas classics from the guy who asked Santa Claus for Porkies on Betamax. Mike Ranger's Merry Fucking Christmas. Record $9.95, 8-track cassette or CD, $12.95, digital download. What the fuck is that? Order now and receive before Christmas. Also receive a free cum rag. Just pay separate shipping and handling.
Now, isn't that the gift that just keeps on giving all year long? Now, before we get started, I'd like to just mention that I'll be making my picks as if I was 8 years old again, and these wouldn't necessarily be all the same things I'd pick now as a grown man-child. Also, I will be referencing the Wikipedia page for home video releases in 1990, but if anyone knows of a better source that doesn't involve me reading an entire year's worth of newspapers, feel free to email us at videorangerspodcast@gmail.com. Also, feel free to follow us on your social media app of choice and share with us some of your own picks. I'm kind of just going to talk this out with you, and maybe we'll just, invite you into my 8-year-old mind back in 1990 to the things that I would have most been interested in. Now, if you were a little bit older, I'm sure you would have been interested in some other stuff that particular year. All right, let's get on with the show, boys and girls. Please set your time circuits to December 1990. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm just going to go down the Wikipedia page, and I fully understand that this might not exactly be accurate, but fuck it. Let's just talk this out. Let's have a good time, and don't everybody be so fucking serious all the time. It doesn't matter. It's Christmas. Anything can happen, even a miracle. So we'll just take this for what it is, and we'll just have some fun with it. Now, the Wikipedia page is kind of fucked up the way that it's all organized. And but that's okay, because it's the holidays and it's time for forgiveness. So we'll forgive whoever did this. It's their fault, but it's okay. It's Christmas or Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. All right, so let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one film from each month. That's what I'll do. We'll pretend that what I did was, and I kind of did do this, I would look at the Sunday circulars and I would say, oh, Mom, I want this movie. So we'll just pretend that I picked one movie a month and she fucking remembered. All right, so on January 4th, according to this, License to Kill was released by United Artists. And on January 11th, it was Do the Right Thing. Look at that. January 24th, The Karate Kid Part 3, New York Stories, and Turner and Hooch. Turner and Hooch, what a classic that one is. January 25th, UHF, Uncle Buck. And on January 31st, Pink Cadillac, the great Clint Eastwood in a terrible film. So which one would I pick from January? Which one would 8-year-old Mike Ranger most want in the month of January? And the answer is, boys and girls, of course, Turner and Hooch. Who doesn't like a buddy cop film, especially when the buddy's a dog? Man's best friend. Makes perfect fucking sense. All right, let's move on to February here, because on February 1st of 1990, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was released on VHS. February 8th, we have Lethal Weapon Part 2, Parenthood, and Wired. On February 15th, Bloodhounds of Broadway, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Relentless. On February 21st, we have Breaking In, and on February 22nd, The Package. February 28th, The Big Picture, and Young Einstein, starring the great Yahoo Serious. Now, but which one, boys and girls, would Mike Ranger most want out of the month of February? Of course, the answer is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Who didn't want to be Indiana Jones? My father, got me a whip. Not because I like the movie, but for more for beatings. But see, that's what you got in my house when you spilled paint in the garage. All right, so there. All right, we're moving right along, folks. Moving right along. Let's go into the month of March, because on March 1st, Halloween Part 5: The Revenge of Michael Myers. Very interesting film there. Not quite as good as the fourth, in my opinion. March 7th, we have Phantom of the Opera 1943, as well as Phantom of the Opera 1989. What an interesting double package there. On March 8th, we had Field of Dreams. On March 13th, we had Little Monsters and Millennium. On March 16th, we had Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. March 21st, Casualties of War and An Innocent Man. And on March 22nd, shocker, March 28th, we had Dead Poets Society. And on March 29th, we had Best of the Best and The Abyss. So this is a tough month, but remember, I only get to pick one. And also remember that I am only 8 years old. So which film here would I most want in the month of March? And it is obviously, without a doubt, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I was a big fucking fan. Yeah, that's what we're going with, boys and girls. All right, now let's move on to April 11th here, where we have a release of Look Who's Talking. And then on April 12th, we have Johnny Handsome and Shirley Valentine. Now on April 19th, we have Black Rain and Sea of Love. On April 25th, we have Next of Kin and Sex, Lies, and Videotape. And on April 26th, we have A Dry White Season, Eric the Viking, and Let It Ride. So which one would Mike Ranger most want in the month of April? And the answer is Look Who's Talking, for many reasons. First, talking babies. Right there, number one. Second reason, I believe this is right around the time that Kirstie Alley was on Cheers, I think. And I like me some Cheers. All right, let's go right over here to May, because on May 2nd, we had the release of In Country. Never heard of that. On May 3rd, we had Fat Man and Little Boy. Sounds a lot like Christmas to me. On May 9th, we had Immediate Family, Leatherface, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Oh, May's looking good already. All right, May 10th, we had Dad and Drugstore Cowboy. Drugstore Cowboy, by the way, is a fantastic film if anybody hasn't seen it. On May 17th, we had Harlem Nights. On May 18th, we had The Little Mermaid. May 22nd, Back to the Future Part 2. May 24th, we had Crimes and Misdemeanors. The Fabulous Baker Boys, worth winning. On May 31st, we had The Bear and Old Gringo. All right. So which film in May would Mike Ranger be picking? I think if you don't know the answer, then you don't listen to this show, because it's Back to the Future Part 2. I like I've said many a time, my father and I saw this in the theater, and he was quite upset when the film ended and they showed us the trailer for Part 3. He was very, very upset that he knew he had to return to the theater for the cost of another ticket to see the end, because of course he had to see the fucking end. And I will never forget that experience. So look at that. A little bit of a Christmas memory there. Didn't exactly happen on Christmas, but hey, just go with it, guys. Go with it. I'm not exactly a fucking professional here. I don't know if anybody's picked up on that yet. All right, so there we go. We've got... That's it through May here. And let's go on to June. So let's see here. In the month of June, we have on June 13th, we have the release of Heart Condition, My Left Foot, Tango and Cash. June 14th, we have the release of Always and The Wizard, Jimmy Woods. All right, now June 20th, we have Steel Magnolias. June 21st, we have Music Box. And June 27th, we have Gross Anatomy. June 28th, we have She-Devil, The War of the Roses, and We're No Angels. All right, so now which film would Mike Ranger pick in the month of June? And again, if you don't know the answer, you don't listen to this show. Of course, it's The Wizard, starring the great Fred Savage. What else would it be? I love the Power Glove. It's so bad. Also, I got a fucking Power Glove for Christmas, and it actually might have been this Christmas. It might have been the Christmas of 1990, because I remember I had seen The Wizard, because we had my parents had bought The Wizard, so I actually did own The Wizard, and I remember seeing the movie and getting the Power Glove, and I think I've told this story before on how it was like the best Christmas and the worst Christmas all in the same time, because the excitement of actually getting the Power Glove and like hooking it up, and then, immediately like the first game you want to play is Punch Out, because it's a fist. And not to mention that, first things first, this thing really didn't fit my 8-year-old hand, and so it really was, when I threw a punch, the glove sometimes would come off my hand. But the thing was, like, instantly, like, I'm realizing that this thing does not really work as well as advertised. And I run the gambit on this thing, like I start with Punch Out, and then of course I moved to Rad Racer because I had seen, The Wizard, and then I tried to play just Mario Brothers with it, and that didn't fucking work. And then eventually I'm just using the controls on the actual pad, and pretty much that was the end of the excitement of the Power Glove. It was pretty much just like a 1 hour window of thinking it was the best Christmas ever, and realizing that the Power Glove was awful. It was that bad. The Power Glove, it was bad. All right, so enough rambling. Let's move on to July. Actually, we can't move on to July, because guess what, boys and girls? The only release that happened in July was Internal Affairs on July 12th, according to this anyway. So with that, I'm just going to have to double dip into June. Now let's go back into June here. We had some films that stand out, like Tango and Cash, and let's see, Steel Magnolias, and Gross Anatomy, She-Devil, War of the Roses. But again, I'm 8 years old, and my mother and my father control the TV, so I'm watching Roseanne, on a Wednesday night on ABC. So, of course, the film I'm going to want to take home is She-Devil, starring the great Roseanne Barr. All right. Now, why don't we do a little bit of a recap? We'll go back here. In January, we selected Turner and Hooch. February, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. March, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. April, Look Who's Talking. May, Back to the Future Part 2. And June, we double dipped with The Wizard and She-Devil because July sucked. And now we're approaching the month of August. August 2nd, we've got the release of Downtown, Driving Miss Daisy, Flashback, and Revenge. On August 29th, we're skipping a few weeks here. Something doesn't seem right. This is where I think that Wikipedia is fucking me. Because, they fuck you on Wikipedia. That's what they do. All right, so on August 29th, we got the release of All Dogs Go to Heaven, which is God, just a depressing movie. Bad Influence and Stella. So which one is Mike Ranger going with on August, in the month of August, 1990? And the film would have to be All Dogs Go to Heaven. I don't have any other choice here. It's an animated film. I did own this and don't really like the movie, but 8-year-old, I'm buying it. Burt Reynolds, gotta love it. Dom DeLuise, I think he's in that. Yeah, right? All right, anyway, let's go to September 5th. We've got House Party, The Great House Party. Fantastic movie. On September 6th, we've got The Adventures of Ronald McDonald, McTreasure Island. That's from High Tops Video. All right, that's interesting. Then on September 6th, we've got The Secret of Nim. September 21st, The Sword in the Stone and Peter Pan. These are both Disney releases, obviously. So which one is 8-year-old Mike going to watch? Well, it's going to have to be The Sword in the Stone, because I was very much into that film at the time. Today, of course, it would be House Party, but again, 8-year-old Mike Ranger, Sword in the Stone. Disney wins. Has to happen. All right, let's skip on over here to October. On October 4th, we have the release of Q&A, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. On October 19th, we have Alice in Wonderland, Dumbo, Pretty Woman, and again, Sword in the Stone. This is a re-release, apparently. I don't exactly understand what happened here. So again, we are on Wikipedia, so let's remove that from the running. Who knows what makes sense? What's up or down or up? I'm in a Wonka Vader. Anyway, so October 25th, we have The Hunt for the Red October, Jetsons the movie, Miami Blues. So which one is Mike Ranger going to go with for the month of October? And the answer, of course, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What else would it be? Now, let's skip on down to November here, because on November 1st, we have Total Recall. On November 8th, Back to the Future Part 3, Prancer and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. November 15th, we have Bird on the Wire and Cadillac Man. And that's all we have here for the month of November. And 8-year-old Mike, what are we going with? Well, we're going with the release of Back to the Future Part 3, because even though I despised that movie at the time, I was a completionist and I wanted all 3 movies, of course. So Back to the Future Part 3, even though I wish Clara went right to the bottom of that fucking ravine. All right, let's cheer up. December's around the corner. Here we are. December 4th, 1990, we have Ernest Goes to Jail. On December 5th, we have The Adventures of Lolo the Penguin. On December 9th, we have Babes in Toyland. That's a Disney VHS re-release. If you've never seen Babes in Toyland by Disney, it was starring the great Annette from the original Mickey Mouse Club. It's actually a fantastic little musical. I advise you check it out if you're a fan of skipping and hopping. Anyway, December 13th saw the release of RoboCop 2. December 18th saw the release of Dick Tracy. And that's pretty much it here for the organized list. I don't really want to go down this unorganized list, even though there are some notable titles. Yeah, I'm not even going to mess with that, because I just don't like the way it's organized. So which film is Mike Ranger going with in the month of December 1990? Well, that, of course, would be Dick Tracy. I was a fucking huge Dick Tracy fan. I wanted the watch. The fact that we now have these watches that are doing Dick Tracy things is both amazing and upsetting at the same time, because I like the idea of the old radio style. I don't need to send an email. I just need to radio for backup. That's all I need. All right, so let's just recap here. What are the 12 films that you're going to find underneath the tree, underneath Mike Ranger's tree in 1990? That is, if Santa brings everything I asked for. Well, that would be Turner and Hooch, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Look Who's Talking, Back to the Future Part 2, The Wizard, She-Devil, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Sword in the Stone, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Back to the Future Part 3, and Dick Tracy. Now, boys and girls, feel free to write into videorangerspodcast@gmail.com, or, hit us up on your social media, app of choice, and tell us what were some of your picks. What would you buy in December of 1990, whether you were 8 years old or 80? We'd really like to know, so please write on in. Also, we'd like to wish you all happy holidays and a Merry New Year. Be sure to check out our friends, the VHS Bandits podcast, Movie Madness podcast, Mr. Throwback Thursday, and Dueling Decades. The Video Rangers podcast will be back in 2021 with a whole new game plan, or maybe more of just the same. We don't really know yet. But if you're looking for a last-minute gift, please hit that hotline up and buy Mike Ranger's Merry Fucking Christmas. We need to keep the lights on. Until next time, if you've seen a bad movie, we're ready to believe you.
Podcast New York, where the podcasts never sleep.